Welcome to NACD BoardVision. My name is Henry Stoever, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for NACD. On today's episode of NACD BoardVision, I'm joined by Cloyd, PwC's leader for the Center for Board Governance. Marianne, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, Henry, always good to be here with you. Thank you.
On this episode of NACD BoardVision, Marianne and I will be discussing some of the key takeaways from NACD Directorship 2020. Marianne, today we discussed competition as a disruptive force, and I'm really wondering if you can help summarize for us some of the key takeaways that you've heard and how we can help share those with directors and our viewers today.
The competition and the disruptive forces that are there today are probably as intense as I've seen in my business career. And I think as part of the board's oversight role, and clearly this ties into strategy, right? When we talk to boards, the one thing they always want to spend more time on is strategy. Is really, as you're looking at strategy, how does competition figure into that discussion? And you mentioned the concept of a disruptive force, and I like to think about it in the context of disruptive innovation. And I think one of the things that, as the board is talking with management, when you're looking at these disruptive forces, I think we've seen industries in our lifetimes where somebody else has come in where they've been the game changer, and the game change has effectively put some existing companies, existing products out of business. To me, one of the keys that I'd want to be thinking about at my company is how can we be the game changers?
A lot of times people say, okay, the board's role is oversight. Well, oversight sometimes really kind of comes with the connotation of being passive and reactive. Okay, let's review the financial statements. Let's make sure the audit was conducted in the right way. Let's make sure the compensation plan was developed and kind of delivered upon appropriately. But really, from a disruption perspective, the competition's not going to wait. What do you think some of the limiting forces and things that prevent boards and directors from talking about and discussing competition as a disruptive force?
And you just touched on one when we're talking about how easy it is in that boardroom to spend all your time looking back. Right. And we talk about, we've certainly talked over the last year or so about what are the right metrics that a board can be looking at. And I think that sometimes it's very easy to get into all of those backward-looking metrics. And understandably so. Right. I mean, public companies have shareholders they have to report to, so it's very easy to get taken down that path. But how do you really become even more forward-looking? In dealing in this competitive environment, one of a really good thing can be to have a group within your company that's the white space group. Right. So to have that group that is, going back to what we said a minute ago, to being focused on being the disruptor, not the disrupted.
How does the board kind of encourage the management team, if it doesn't already have a distinct white space group, from thinking futuristic as opposed to delivering the numbers that need to get done for the quarter or the year per se?
Certainly one thing that I am hearing more and more from directors today is that they feel that with everything that their management teams are facing, so again, when we talk about what the competition is, what the potential disruptors are, is how can they be of benefit to management? Right. And I think sometimes that is really, it's finding out ways to ask those questions. And I think that, in what I'm hearing from a lot of board members is the questions that they are asking today are different than the questions they were asking 2 or 3 years ago. And I think they're needing to be more challenging. Maybe in many cases they are being that activist. Right. Obviously has to be done in a respectful way, and in a way that's constructive and not destructive. It's built on that foundation of a healthy working relationship between the board and management, but it really is, thinking of those questions that need to be asked.
Marianne, thank you for joining us. I'm Henry Stoever, and this is NACD BoardVision.